Hello, and welcome to the very first inaugural official canon episode of the Basement Diaries. That is a work in progress title. I filmed these in my basement. I talk about personal shit, or at least I plan to talk about personal shit like a diary. So, Basement Diaries. If y'all got any better suggestions, feel free to shoot them my way, leave them down in the comments, whatever. But as of today, it's the first episode of the Basement Diaries. Today, I will be going over a case of mine that's very personal to me, and I've been trying to investigate on and off for almost 6 years now, and that is the case of Isabelle6298. This all takes place on Quotev, a creative platform for stories, quizzes, surveys, and polls, which was founded in 2008. I joined the site myself in July of 2017. That's where my writing career actually got started. I don't totally remember why I chose Quotev in particular. I think it was like Quotev and like Wattpad that was between. I think I just wanted to be different, and I liked how Quotev sounded. So I chose Quotev as my site. So like my very first pieces of writing were like a Danganronpa fanfiction killing game that was really fucking shitty. And then I actually had some original fiction as well. I actually have a duology series based on some animes I watched growing up that I really should not have been watching. But they gave me two novels, so I guess something good came out of them. But perhaps I'll go into some of the stories I wrote in a separate video. This video is not about my stories though. It is about an individual I met on Quotev one fateful day, Isabelle6298. Isabelle6298 seems like just some innocuous account that was created on December 27th, 2018. 2 days later, the account would follow only me and was seemingly only created to connect with me. Throughout the next couple of days, we would converse about drama at school, stuff with our friends, just like random shit people our age got into. But the whole account just gave off this weird vibe, especially with what I was going through at the time. At the time, I was kind of not falling out with my friend, but I was kind of falling out of this friendship with a friend of mine, ex-friend of mine. Basically, I started getting feelings for her, and it kind of made things awkward. She didn't reciprocate the feelings, totally valid on her part. But it became super weird between us. We just kind of stopped being friends. And then around the same time, here comes this new account. And I even tell this new account, like, shit that's going down with my ex-friend or whatever. So, like, for the longest time, my theory was that it was my ex-friend who was, like, operating this account and was trying to know what was going through our mind or whatever, like trying to mess with me or whatever, like waste my time. But like, yeah, I don't know what her intentions would have really been. Complicating things even further, upon like re-examining the evidence I have and going over everything, I don't even know how well that theory holds up anymore. But even any of the new theories I've like tried to come up with, it's like all of them have like massive holes in them that like I don't even know which is the like real reason anymore, because everything is just bleh. Plus, this case is like almost like 6 years old now. Like Quotev has removed their messaging features, so I'm not able to go back and get even more evidence. I have very limited evidence, unfortunately, but Quotev removed their messaging features, I think earlier this year, back in the summer, and all of this happened like within like their messaging system. So I tried to reach out to them, see if I could like retrieve any of the messages, but apparently they gave users a warning, and then they just wiped them all completely. So I wasn't around for that, obviously. So yeah, you're gonna have to deal with the very shoddy evidence I have. Despite this case essentially being cold just based on how old it is, I hope y'all are still interested and can maybe even hopefully help me try to crack down on this. So if you're all down for that, let's head back into the time of Musically, Hydro Flask, and Vine compilations and take a stab at this online mystery. So like I said at the beginning, Isabelle6298 was an account created on December 27th, 2018. And the account layout was super basic. You're able to like customize your Quiltive profile and just make it look all pretty and stuff. Throughout this whole saga and even to this day, the Isabelle account just lays like completely basic and stuff and just didn't bother to customize it. But 2 days later, on December 29th, Isabelle would post an activity post. And basically, the way the activity feed worked, it was basically similar to Instagram notes, where you kind of like post little status updates, but it allowed a lot more characters to write and like you could like go crazy and rant. Let's read Isabelle's one and only activity post. And actually, I have it on my laptop right here, so I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it here, and you should see it pop up on your screen overlaid or whatever. LMAO, just started this account, and I have no idea how to work this, so rest in peace, me. And I have this crush on a guy who was clearly a bad boy because you know about that life. And so I really miss him because it's winter break for me, and I have 2 classes with him, and we are biology partners, and he is really nice, and I hope he will ask me to dance because we talk 24/7, and he calls me all the time, and it's so awkward because seeing my best friend watch me like someone else because he likes me, and my crush may or may not. LMAO, rip. So yeah, I mean nothing crazy, it just sounds like some random girl rambling about her crush or whatnot, and how her best friend also likes her, which is very similar to what was going on in my life at the time, like I mentioned at the beginning, with my ex-friend. My ex-friend started liking this new kid in my class, and he was clearly, I'm not gonna say he was like a bad influence because that's not necessarily for me to say, but I mean, he was clearly like the bad boy type. I see what she was. I see. I'm no homo, but like I saw. I can understand what she saw, respectfully. But still, I was jealous. Whatever. But again, just sound very, very, very similar to what I was going through. So regardless, let's go into some of our messages. Now, at the time when she first messaged me, she had no profile picture or whatever. Later on in our conversations, I had asked her if she could like provide like a picture of herself, so like I could like reverse image search it and see if like she was catfishing me, because like for even from the very beginning I thought like maybe I was being catfished or whatever. So I asked her to like send a picture of herself, and she did later set that picture as her profile picture. And then after that point, I had taken like the first screenshots. So because I can't reasonably conclude that the person running the account really was, you know, the face of the account, I'm just gonna be blurring the face. So you're gonna see a lot of blurred splotches within the screenshots. I'm just doing that to preserve privacy and whatnot. And also back at this time, I went by a pseudonym Enzo. I guess it's not just barely even really a pseudonym. But I went by the pseudonym Enzo online, so if you see Enzo, just know that's me. Obviously, it's the one that's not censored. But let's read on to our first message. Hey, just joined the site, and I read your journal and relate strongly, but now that you're in school, did you get a new kid in your class to be friends with? Love reading your books, by the way. Isabelle. So basically, just real quick to go over what she's talking about. So basically, journal entries are also similar to the activity feature, where like you can post status updates or whatnot. But they're a lot more like blog oriented. You can post like a lot more, even more than what the activity character limit was. And I would also use that a lot too. Just talk about shit or whatever, give updates on like stories I was writing and whatnot. So yeah, that's what she's referring to. I think I had made like a post about how I'm like kind of scared to like go into 8th grade or whatever, how I'm just like ready to move into high school. So that's what she means when she mentions my journal entries. So anyway, let's continue. Yeah, his name is Blank. This girl I'm besties with is crazy over him, and I've been jealous since I kind of like her, and I recently told her, and she's more interested in his dick than his personality, but it's been pretty alright otherwise. Oh, that sucks, but you like her? Can't relate, but I live in Atlantic City and go to high school there, and I've been in the same situation. Why do you like her? She likes Blank though. And by the way, is your name Enzo? Because that's so cool. Yo, do you have Insta? It'd be nice to talk there too if Quiltive mysteriously shuts down. Also, if you don't mind me asking, how did you find me in like 2 days? Like, I don't mind. that much, but it just seems weird that a high schooler would find interest in the shit I do. So already she mentions where she's from, which is weird because I didn't even bother asking. Because I didn't even ask like, oh, where are you from or whatever. But I didn't totally dox myself with the journal feature, but I was talking about the like people in my class or whatever, and someone had commented like under my journal entry like, oh, what school is this? I think I might go here. Like I think I might know the people or whatever. And my dumbass was like, it's a school in this town, and if that doesn't sound familiar, this isn't your school. So there's a good chance she might have seen that post and been like, oh, he's like kind of local, so that's probably why she mentioned where she's from. But yeah, I don't really know why she mentioned that. But anyway, I just asked her how she found me, so let's go into what she says. LMAO, my friend Amber told me about you, and I decided to look it up. And also, I just got hacked on Insta, so I'm about to create a new account, but I'll send you my username when I make it. Disclaimer, I say LMAO a lot. Don't worry about it. I'm also prone to say LMAO a lot. Also, could you hit me up with your friend? Because I'm unaware I have a fan that actually suggested me to their friends. I'm not used to popularity, if you couldn't tell. She lives in Colorado, but she found you on Musically, which I don't have, so sorry, but I just moved here, so I know absolutely no one, besides my only friend. Alright, so, lots of stuff to dissect here. So, apparently her friend Amber found my Quiltev through my Musically page. I vaguely remember making some Musicallys about my Quiltev, but I can't remember if I like exactly directly like linked my Quiltev profile to my Musically. I may have not. I honestly just do not remember. Isabel didn't have Quiltev, however, so she couldn't direct me to her friend. So Amber's not really too important in this whole story, but it is a weird detail nonetheless. Isabel would also give me her Instagram, I believe, or gave me an Instagram account. And I think we did like briefly talk, but I don't have screenshots of that. It really wasn't anything too important, so nothing you're really missing there. So to recap, she mentions being from Atlantic City, which is like 20 minutes, 15 minutes from where I'm at, before I even begin to ask her where she's from. She was suggested to me by her friend Amber, but she herself didn't have Musically, so she couldn't give me her Musically so I could reach out to Amber myself. The biggest thing is, she's in high school already while I'm in 8th grade, and this will be important when I go into my theory at the end. Just put a pin in it, because it does lead to some pretty decent developments later on. But anyway, pretty tame beginnings, I'd say. Let's move on to some of the other messages. Hey, so I've been really stressed at the moment. I was hoping you could help me. So my crush texted me at New Year's, and he told me he likes me, and obviously I like him, but I don't know how to tell my bestie who likes me. What should I do? I think your bestie would understand if you went with your crush, or you could just date without him knowing until maybe a few weeks, depending on how he reacts to secrets. My bestie did the same thing when she was going out with someone and only told a few people but me. I was chill about it, but it really just depends on how you think your bestie will react. Okay, thanks. No problem. Give me feedback about what happens afterwards. Nothing crazy there. It's just me like giving her advice, like what to do with her crush and whatnot. It does sound super similar again to the situation I was going through with my friend. I don't remember if she ended up going out with the dude in my class, the one she liked. I don't think they ended up going out, or maybe they went out like very briefly. So again, maybe not the most parallel experience, but just something interesting. I realized, and also you might have noticed there's some other notation on there besides the me like crossing out the names and picture and stuff. That's from a separate earlier investigation I did before this point. This is my first time trying to investigate this case. I will go into that a little bit more later, but you'll see one more case of it. But just so you know that notation in particular isn't pertinent to this case. But anyway, let's move on to the next message. Okay, so update on my bestie. She didn't want to talk to me because apparently I called her a fake bitch on Instagram or something. I obviously didn't, but she really wants to force herself to believe it's true, so I'm not even sure if she respects me anymore. Okay, so gotta clear this up super quickly, besides me being a huge douchebag. I did actually call her a fake bitch, but it wasn't on Instagram. It was on Quotev. Um, and it was only on Quotev, at least to my knowledge. I'm pretty sure I only called her a fake bitch on Quotev, not Instagram. So that gives credence, or at least it confirms the fact that my ex-friend was on my Quotev page at some point in time. She knew it existed. I had posted, like I said, I had made musicallys about it in the past prior to this point, and I'm sure she followed me on Musical.ly at the time. So I'm sure she's ventured onto the site once or twice, mainly just to look at my profile, and she probably found it. She probably just found my page through my Musical.ly, and that's how she saw it. But she at least was on my profile. She was on my profile, at this time, at that age, whatever. But yeah, I do want to clear it up because apparently either I was just gaslighting myself or I just forgot. Unless I did actually call her a fake bitch on Instagram, which I don't think I did because I think we were still following each other at the time. I don't think I would have been so vocal about that on Instagram, but whatever. In any case, let's continue. Oh wow, that's shady. But I'm sure she still respects you as a person. No, she doesn't. I tried to talk things out with her in person, but she keeps avoiding me and she tells people on the bus that I'm chasing her. I'm not sure if she's trying to get me to hate her or something because it ain't working. In fact, it's honestly impossible for me to hate her. She's just too hard to hate, and I know it's not my fault and she's just overreacting, at least I think. I mean, I'm just too scared about being abandoned by someone that I was really close to, and I just wish I could tell her that without her freaking out, you know? Yeah, I completely understand, and maybe you should talk things out with her, but say, like, disclaimer, I don't want you to freak out or something. But if she keeps avoiding you, she isn't a true friend, and if she is saying you chased her, maybe she thinks you were, but didn't know what you really meant. I hope everything works out tomorrow because it's Friday. Thanks. Hey, how did things go with your crush and the bestie who likes you? It worked out. My bestie was cool with it, and now I have a boyfriend. Okay, so things are going swimmingly with Isabelle, I guess, even though shit's going down with me. If you didn't notice before, though, when I first sent her the message about my ex-friend being mad at me for calling her a fake bitch, and then her message, there's actually a 2-week gap. She explains this at least I think she explains this 2-week gap, either the next message, I don't remember if this is the immediate next message or sometime soon after, but I'm pretty sure this does refer to the 2-week gap. So let's go into it. By the way, sorry I've been inactive. I just got my phone taken away because I tried to starve myself, and I had to go to the ER, so my parents took my phone away so I didn't get negativity. Okay. Total whiplash there. I'm not going to go into it just right now because it is kind of like a sensitive subject, and this is not the most appropriate setting to really be dissecting what this person may have been going through, but it does actually go into one of my theories towards the end, so we will come back to this, but I will try my best to tread as lightly as possible and be respectful about it, especially as someone who's had issues and kind of to this day still does have issues with my own body image. I do want to handle this not safely, but I do want to be as respectful as possible. So we will touch on it when I go into my theories, but just put a pin in it for now. Then we have our last screenshot, and it's not too eventful, but I'm gonna read it anyway. Okay, so like, I gotta ask, why are you so nice? It honestly puts a lot of my friends I've had for a while into perspective, probably because they're all raised in New Jersey and everyone here is sort of a dick / sassy. I mean, you bothered to actually check up on me, and it's always nice talking to you, so like, what's your secret? I really want to know. LMAO, aw, you're a nice one. I honestly have no idea, but trust me, I've had friends that were absolute douchebags, so... And that's the end of our interactions, really. Again, not the most eventful, besides me really just throwing my friends under the bus. Yeah, I was a huge douchebag in 8th grade, we're not gonna talk about that. Yeah. So we've had a couple more conversations in between these screenshots, and then like a little bit afterwards. But eventually, she did just go like completely radio silent, and eventually, at some point, she actually went back and like changed her username and display name to like a string of like random numbers for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean that's all the screenshots I have, and that just leaves us with my theories. But before we get into our theories, actually, I do want to go over my previous attempts at investigation because those dug up quite some interesting leads, and they don't really, honestly, they don't make things any easier. But I have a bit of a more clearer direction as to what the answer to this whole saga might be. So let's go into some of my previous attempts at investigating this case. So you may be wondering, why did I only have those screenshots? Why did I only take those screenshots when I mentioned having more conversations with her in between those screenshots and even after that point? Well, I had actually contacted the MTV Catfish team to look at my case. Yeah, MTV fucking Catfish. And I thought they would pick up my case. I've seen clips of Catfish on YouTube at the time, and it seemed like a legitimate thing. And I'm sure it is a legitimate thing, but I figured they were like a good, earnest, legitimate team to like help me with my case because I was just so desperate to like get answers out of this because this whole situation was just driving me crazy. I contacted Nev Schulman, or at least Nev Schulman's Catfish email account. I emailed him my whole story about what I was going through, where I was from, whatever. And then I provided the screenshots. I provided what screenshots I thought were the best to describe my situation. I told them that I could get more screenshots if I needed to. Unfortunately, they never ended up reaching back out to me. Of course not, because I mentioned that I was like 14 in the email, and obviously they don't look at cases that aren't involving adults, so can't really blame them there. If anyone out there is watching from the MTV Catfish team, or anyone's got connections, reach back out to me, please. This case is still cold. Y'all can definitely help me out a bit, because I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing out here. But yeah, they never responded, so I just kind of sat on this case for almost like 4.5 years after that point. And then I had a bit of an epiphany, sort of. She mentioned being from Atlantic City, which is somewhat local to me, so I figured if she were from Atlantic City, or at least she went to school in Atlantic City, she maybe had some of the same friends I did, or like someone had to have recognized her if I had a picture to show. So in May of 2023, I posted the one singular picture I had of her onto my Snapchat, and I asked the people on my Snapchat, because I figured most of the people I follow and friends with on Snapchat are like local. I asked if anyone could identify her. I said the picture was old, but I'm just trying to see something. And I had 2 people tell me a name. And the name was, in fact, Isabelle, but it was spelled differently. The Isabelle on Quotev was spelled Isabelle, and then the name I had received from Snapchat was spelled Isabel. Interesting. Very interesting. Regardless, I found the Instagram page, sent it a follow, hoped they would follow back, maybe even recognize me, and be like, oh, this is the dude I used to talk to. Cool. And found out that they actually went to the school I went to, not some school in Atlantic City. So that means at some point they had to have transferred or whatever. And I'll go a little bit more into that when I go into my actual theories. But even after all of that, before I moved forward with this video, I figured I would try one last time to reach out to her directly this time. So I sent her a DM asking her, or at least telling her what the situation was. I was trying to figure out this mystery, and your face, I think it's your face, is attached to it. And I would really appreciate your help if you have any answers to give any light on it. Reach back out to me if you want. And to this day, I'm still undelivered, so that's why everything here is like completely like anonymized and stuff. So that's that. So let's move on to my theories, because it doesn't get any easier. Alright, so let's go into my theories, because none of them, they're plausible, but none of them are plausible enough. There's so many holes in either theory that it's just I can't begin to reasonably deduct any of them and take any of them off the table. First theory was the theory I ran with for the longest time, is that it was my ex-friend, the one I called a bitch on Quotab. It was her running the account. She used Isabel's likeness for whatever reason, either with or without her permission, and this was her way of getting back at me and whatnot. But I don't think that's correct necessarily. I really don't think so. Despite her definitely being on my Quotev page because she knew I called her a fake bitch, that's why she was like upset with me. She doesn't seem like the vengeful. I'm just trying to remember how she was back then. She really does not seem like the vengeful type of person to like do that sort of thing. So I really don't think that's plausible. And then of course there's the whole 2-week gap where I had messaged the account being like, hey, my friend's upset with me. You would think if it were, my ex-friend, she would want to reply immediately. But no, she like disappeared. The account disappeared for like 2 weeks and then came back all of a sudden. So it doesn't really explain that, but that was my first theory. Second theory was that Isabel did operate the account, but was in correspondence with my ex-friend, and they were like working together on the whole thing. So pretty kind of similar to the first theory, but Isabel was just running everything. She had the credentials to log in and whatnot. The only thing is why would anyone fucking agree to do that? Like I said, my ex-friend didn't seem like the vengeful type of person, and I highly doubt that Isabel got a rush from doing some revenge work, so I don't think that theory is plausible. Just for fun, I decided to see if Isabel and my ex-friend were following each other, and they are following each other on Insta, but they could have easily followed each other at any point in time. There's no telling how long they've been friends, or if they've even like interacted. Maybe they just liked each other's vibe and they just followed one another based on that. Since I was checking who was following who, I decided to see if Isabel was following anyone named Amber, like the girl at the beginning who apparently found me on Musically. And she was following one girl named Amber, but she also went to my school. She didn't go to some school in Colorado like she mentioned, where she came from before. And I find it very unlikely that two people from the same area in Colorado came to my specific like hometown and went to like the same school. But Amber is also a super common name, and plus the Amber I saw didn't even follow Isabel back, so it could just be a completely separate Amber. But I don't think, like I said before, I really don't think Amber really fits into this whole narrative anyway. The only other issue with this theory is just like, why would you attach your face to it? Like, I understand that you're the one like running the account, even if you're working like with my ex-friend, but it's like, why bother attaching your face and your name to it? Why? Also, the other thing is, why not come up with like a random name? Why did you just barely change the spelling of your name, thinking that would be enough to mask you anyway? Which even then, you still used your face anyway. So, yeah. And like I said, I still don't know if that face is a complete match. I tried like I tried comparing the picture to the pictures on the Instagram, and the pic I have is just like super old, so it's really hard, it's kind of hard to determine whether or not it really is a direct match. I think it is, but again, I really do not know for sure. Third theory is that Isabelle ran the account on her own without any interference, and everything she said was true. Which, I don't know, I kind of want to believe it only because I believe in like happy endings and stuff, and this is just a friendship I lost. This is just a friendship I lost, you know, between my fingertips, and it's. I don't really think this is the one either. But it would explain why she would attach her face to it, her face to the account and whatnot. I don't know. Still don't really know why you would change the spelling of your name or whatever. But yeah, it does also give a little bit more, or at least it would help me rest easier if this was genuinely her. It would make the whole starving herself thing less disturbing, knowing that it's not some lie someone came up with, because that's a really gross thing to lie about. So if it is indeed, if it were genuinely her, at least it wouldn't be, at least the whole statement of her starving herself wouldn't be a lie. So that's one good thing, I guess. That doesn't totally explain her transferring to my school and whatnot, but yeah. And then the last theory, which I guess could be somewhat plausible, I really don't know, is that it was a completely random person, separate from everything, and they saw what I was talking about, like on my journal entries and stuff, and they decided to craft this whole persona to mess with me. Which just, I don't know. I feel like this all feels super elaborate it all feels just so super elaborate for someone to come up with and then stay committed to for like months on end. Like I don't have that kind of boredom. I don't think anyone has that kind of boredom. I guess again it's possible, but even still they would have to get the picture from somewhere. It's a legit picture. I like reverse image searched it numerous times. It's a legit picture. If that picture does belong to the Instagram page I was led to, that still means it's someone from my area. It may have been someone I was familiar with, I just didn't bother to even connect the dots. Those are my theories. I really don't know which one to even begin to believe or eliminate. And that would be the end of it until I made another discovery upon starting research for this video. Because not only did Isabelle apparently transfer to my school, or at least, you know, not only did Isabelle go to my school, apparently, she was in the same class as me, which is different from what the Quotev account said. Because on Quotev, she was already in high school while I was in 8th grade. And now, all of a sudden, she graduated in my class. So I started going through my yearbooks, trying to see if at any point she had gotten held back or whatnot, and I couldn't. Nothing supported that. I only have my sophomore for senior yearbooks, and she was in my same graduating class throughout all of those years. So only in the freshman year. So either she repeated the freshman year, or she lied about her age, or my ex-friend, pretending to be her, lied about her age. And there's some credence to lying about her age, I feel like. For one, like I mentioned before, I would talk about stuff like in my journal entries and stuff, and I did tend to shit talk my class quite a bit. And either my ex-friend saw that and she crafted a whole persona of a high schooler, hopefully banking on the idea that, oh, it would attract me because, oh, this high schooler is interested in my life, you know, she thinks I'm mature or whatever, and I'm going to engage with them, you know, and fall into their bait. And it goes the whole thing about my ex-friend trying to get back at me for having feelings for her. Yeah, I really don't think that first theory holds any water, because not only is she not a vengeful person, just the intentions just are not there. So I think I can almost confidently scratch off the first theory, but still on the table. But I think I can just now. I think I can begin to scratch that one off more or less. The other theory is that Isabelle herself lied about her age. Like she was earnest. The account was hers. It was earnestly hers. It had no nefarious connections whatsoever. But she also may have seen my stories, saw how I viewed people my age, and didn't want to come off as like immature, or didn't want me to dismiss her immediately because she was the same age as me, or like in the same class as me. So she decided to lie about being older to make herself more appealing. Which I mean, everyone's lied about their age before. I've lied about my age before. So I mean, I think that theory is pretty plausible. I'd say if there's anything I can concretely put belief in, I can put belief in that theory. I think that's the most realistic thing out of everything. The other theory is that Isabelle did indeed get held back. At some point, she had been in the grade level above me, and she got held back as a result of her eating disorder. I have no recollection of her discussing her eating disorder or anything to do with how she viewed her body and whatnot, beyond what she had said about trying to starve herself and sending herself to the ER because of it. So again, that could have just been a lie made up by either my ex-friend or whoever was operating the account, because they had to be away for like 2 weeks and they suddenly come back. But assuming it's real and it's genuine, it perhaps had gotten to the point where we had repeat trips to the ER, or she simply just started failing her classes, and her family needed a nice, secure therapy, counseling service, whatever. And the most reliable one was one in my hometown. So they packed up, left, came here, and that's why she went. That's why she was at my school, and she repeated freshman year, not in Atlantic City, but at the school in my hometown. Which I don't really know. I mean, I hate to use someone's like eating disorder as some basis for a theory, especially because I don't even know if it's even genuine. But it is. I don't know. I don't really know. And plus, I feel like even then, it's like I feel like transferring to another school while trying to repeat a grade at that other school. I feel like that complicates things so much. I don't think that's the most plausible. But again, I mean, I'm just trying to think of everything here, and yeah, this whole situation's kind of a mess. And to this day, I still do not know what the right answer is, and perhaps it never will be. Like I said, this whole thing happened like between the years of 2018 and 2019, and I'm talking about it now. And with Quotev deleting their messaging features, I can't retrieve any of the older messages anymore. I only have the very limited screenshots that I showed at the beginning, and it's just I think it just kind of just rests as a cold case. And even with the leads I had gotten recently, that's all assuming that the girl that was identified when I posted the pic on Snap is the girl. It may be someone completely different. Like I said, I can't reasonably say like, oh yeah, it's a total match, because the pic I have is old or older compared to the pictures I was trying to compare on the Instagram page. But yeah, that's that. So yeah, kind of a bummer end. There's no real conclusion, but I got it off my chest after almost 6 years come this December. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It was certainly interesting to go back on this interesting point in my life, and I don't think I have any more mysteries, my own personal mysteries I want to dive into, but I did like going back and putting evidence together and trying to come up with shit. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and perhaps I think my next video will be definitely a bit more not as serious as this one. I think I'll go a little bit into my quotative writing career and how I got my early start in writing. So hopefully y'all are down for that, y'all are cool with that. But for now, my name is Ephraim. This has been the very first official, inaugural, and canon episode of the Basement Diaries. Hopefully y'all enjoy it. If y'all got any better title names, please drop them my way. And I will see y'all later. Peace.